Welcome to the Toronto Until Blue Jays podcast. I'm Steve Artabello with Anthony Harris and Theo Giordano. You can find our website at torontountilt.com. You can find us on Twitter, Toronto Untilt. You can find the video of this podcast posted on YouTube, Toronto Untilt. And of course, you can find the audio anywhere that you listen to podcasts. That's Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Breaker, Bleaker, all of the things. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends that the Jays are going to the playoffs. I mean, they're currently half a game up on the Yankees, but that's semantics. We'll get to that. I guess we'll kick everything off with the Rays series because as we normally talk about Rays series with the Blue Jays, there's not a lot of positivity, but there was actually a lot in this one. Theo, you want to get us started?
I was so over the moon after the first game in that series. I literally texted you guys and said, the division's not over. If we sweep the Rays in these 6 games, that's 3 games to make up from there. And obviously we didn't sweep the series, so that's kind of irrelevant now. But it was very optimistic and very nice to see them actually win a series against Tampa.
Not just against Tampa, but Ryan Yarbrough, who owns the Jays, who has sucked in the second half of the season, watching them do what they did to Ryan Yarbrough just like warmed my heart.
Yeah, he's the guy who they had no answer for years. But I think he's just, well, we look at it like, wow, look, the Jays are back now. They've just figured him out. But like he just got obliterated yesterday too by the Tigers. So
and the start before the Red Sox just abused him and then lost that game because the Red Sox are the Red Sox.
Yeah, it's just he sucks right now, but we're great. So that's good.
Yeah, there's no better feeling like knowing that he was going to come in as the bulk guy after I can't even remember what reliever started it, but I remember
McHugh.
Okay, McHugh started it well, like filthy, throwing those Alek Manoah sliders that he has.
He's had a good year.
Oh, I would actually. I mean, this is for a different podcast, but I'd kind of like to see them go after him for a bullpen piece next year. Imagine multiple innings like that coming out of the bullpen.
A lot of suitors for him.
That's true. Some team will probably also give him starter money and see if he can start again because baseball. Right?
He probably wants to.
No, that's what I mean. Exactly. That's But the Jays should be interested. No, that was.
You're going to see that for every reliever Jay's interested in will be on every reliever.
They should be.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Simber and Richards are there. Romano's back. Like they're gonna have they have a bunch of guys coming back, which is gonna be nice.
Yeah.
And guys that you trust, like Simber.
Speaking of back, Ryan Brucky's back on the team.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He pitched.
He caught the first pitch with the
Penny Alexiak, yeah. Oh, and with Penny Alexiak.
Scottie Barnes, future
Scottie
MVP.
Barnes. I love Scottie Barnes. I was not a fan of the pick at the moment because I wanted Jalen Suggs, but I mean, it's the Raptors, and Scottie Barnes is hard not to love the more I see him interviewed. He's just like, he seems like just such a Toronto. He seems like a Raptor. You know what I mean? He's like the ultimate Raptor draft pick. He's the ultimate Raptor personality. Like, it's just, there's a chance that, I mean, the way this team develops players, he could be scary. But this isn't a Raptors podcast. We'll get to that at some other point. Yeah, no, like it was like the Jays did drop one of the games to the Rays, but that whole series just felt different. You know what I mean?
It felt like we were the better team. That's just
No, like the way this offense is rolling, it's the whole pitching staff. Like that Manoah start was
unbelievable.
Like, how do you? The fact also that he and Robbie Ray just seem to own the Rays just warms. Another thing that warms my heart, like things that you never saw, and the Jays now have 2 guys that just absolutely eviscerate the Rays. Like Alek Manoah had that one game. I think he only pitched like 3 2/3 innings, but he had like 9 strikeouts against them.
Yeah,
he also like walked like 5 guys, but like
June or July, and
like even when Robbie Ray and Manoah are struggling, they own the Rays, and that's just it feels good.
It's like the opposite of the Orioles with Robbie Ray, at least.
Fuck the Orioles, fucking trash birds.
No one
when they're playing the Yankees.
No one wants to play the Blue Jays right now. That's just a fact.
No, and you're even looking at like betting lines because I checked them for the series prices. I saw Jays minus 170, and I'm looking at the matchups. Like we do have the better pitcher in every game. So
right.
Like, it feels like at this point people have realized that we're not just the offense; we have an elite rotation.
I was going to say we can get right to it. I guess Ryu's had another bad start. When you look at this rotation, Robbie Ray is an ace. It's like an unquestioned ace. Jose Berrios is back. He had those 2 bad
Big
starts.
shock.
Other than literally those 2 starts, he has been phenomenal, like better than anyone even expected. People were like, okay, he's a number 3. He's been a number 2. Like you have that locked down.
Inning in like every game almost.
Exactly. Like he's going deep, and then it's like, oh God, he might be hurt. Comes back, goes 7 innings. No, he's fine.
Yeah,
he's good.
The model of consistency. That's what we've always said.
We were talking like after that Ryu start. Well, I guess we can get right into that. I think he's tired because the organization, him. Now again, we also talk about how we don't trust this organization when they talk about injuries because they're never right. But it sounds like Ryu's healthy. This could just be a fatigue thing because here's a guy who's 34. He doesn't pitch a lot of innings. Like he had the second most in his career in 2019, like coming off like the year the Jays signed him. Then they have the pandemic season, so he only pitched 67 innings last year. Now he's up to 160. Like I'm wondering if this is a fatigue thing, and that's all because he's been bad. Like just flat out, he's been bad.
And it's been longer than even the last couple starts. We've been kind of glossing
4 of the last 8. They've been
think,
talking about it all the time. It's been 4 of the last 8 starts. He's just been hammered.
Yeah, we've been kind of like, well, me at least has just been like, oh, it's, he's Ryu. He's going to figure it out. He has a good start, bad start. He's going to get consistent again. But you're right that it's just been like the fatigue is probably the issue, hopefully at least.
And you see him start, like the first inning against the Twins, he was mowing them down.
He got lucky. He left a hanger.
I was going to say the second inning is where they started hitting him hard.
No, and
then by the third, it was game over.
The first inning, he left a hanger that I don't know who was hitting, who just missed it, but it was like should have been crushed. It was one of those.
Yeah, okay.
So
he's throwing a lot of middle.
Yeah.
A lot of things are just ending up in the middle of the plate.
And he's on like Robbie Ray, where if Robbie Ray isn't, on the corners, it doesn't matter.
Well, that's the difference when you throw 89 to 91. Exactly. At any time it can be.
See, that was the concern when was signing him. Teams didn't want to give him this kind of money about the workload concerns and how long it would last.
Yeah, but then again, you have the pandemic season, and you can't really, you know what I mean? Like coming off 183 innings, if he pitches a normal workload, maybe he's not tired this year. Although, again, in that bizarro world, maybe he also gets hurt and doesn't go 67 innings where he was on the Cy Young ballot. So
but you can't. You know what? I know what one person says about keeping things exactly the same. Year over one thing different, changing everything else. So you can't really say that, Steve. That we're going to disregard that whole comment.
But yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like you did. I'm hoping it's fatigue and it's not an injury related thing. Just because this rotation now, it's wild to think that Ryu's your 5 in September because the way that Mats is pitched, right? Manoah
is going to be in the bullpen to Mats
with Stripling starting. Remember that?
Yeah.
We thought Stripling was the guy that you should probably roll with, even though he was the one that was probably going to the bullpen because he has more experience with that role. Fucking Steven Matz has been ridiculous. The start yesterday, I mean, we're recording Sunday, so the start on Saturday was so necessary with Ryu going short.
Yeah, he's been getting deep into games. It's been nice.
Yeah. Gave up the 1 home run to Donaldson. We were like, oh, this might be a problem. And then locked it down. Completely locked it down. And allowed the Jays to just getting no hit once again. 4th inning comes around. Oberg, however you want to pronounce it, just got shellacked. It was great. Excellent.
Yeah.
Also, Vladdy keeps hitting dingers, and Ohtani didn't pitch this week. So should we start talking about the Vlad MVP case?
Oh, the media has already decided, Steve. We can't even have the conversation.
It has been decided.
It's absolute bullshit. Vladdy's going to win a Triple Crown, and everyone's going to be like, well, he doesn't pitch. Like,
here's the thing.
He's not
talking about it.
That's the question. He's not a 1-inning reliever once in a while. He's an all-star starter.
If Vladdy, like if the Jays make the playoffs, Vladdy hits 50 bombs, even if he doesn't win a Triple Crown, the way he's closing the season with the way Ohtani's closing the season for a team that's completely out of it, you got to start looking at Vlad realistically for MVP. I know. And here's the thing. I know Ohtani's a unicorn. This is something we haven't seen since Babe Ruth. Like this is 100 years of baseball. Haven't seen this.
Well, it's,
So I
it's
get
harder to do than Babe Ruth.
That's-
Babe Ruth
it's-
didn't do this.
Well, that's Babe Ruth wasn't actually this good at it, both things. You know what I mean? At
No.
the time, like when Ohtani did, like Babe Ruth couldn't actually do both things at the level that Ohtani did for an entire season. That's why they eventually transitioned him to
I
outfield.
will say, the MVP odds, I pulled them up. They were minus 4,000 earlier for Ohtani, minus 2,500 now. Vladdy plus 750. So
Trying to
I
risk
like
you
it.
guys
still long
off.
odds, but they're getting shorter.
Oh man,
Maybe
it's
not
just
over yet.
he has a chance. It's going to be interesting to see how people vote because I told you this before that if they made the playoffs with Vlad, like if he wins a triple crown, you're going to have a lot of old school voters that just go, he won the triple crown and they made the playoffs. Like that's the most valuable player. They're going to go with that type of valuation. And that's where it's going to get really interesting for me. Because if that happens, like all bets are off because then maybe he does do it. But he would have to do it. Like we're talking about a 50 home run.
I think he'd have to get a lot more than 50 home runs. He'd have to hit like 10 home runs the rest of the way. It would have to be something crazy like that in my mind, where it's like, you know what, actually,
well, the thing is, he's
3 home runs, and
he's not just gonna win the AL Triple Crown. Like, there's a chance he wins the MLB Triple Crown. Like, leads both leagues. Like that's actually on the table still.
Remember when everyone's saying he was Miguel Cabrera when he was coming up? He's literally better.
Yeah, he's Miguel Cabrera. Like this is Miggy. Like
Well,
Miggy won
early-
a Triple Crown. This is Miguel Cabrera. This is what Miggy was.
except he's doing it earlier.
Yes, and well, Miggy also didn't play in offensive ballparks.
Yeah, that too.
He did go from the Marlins Park to Comerica and still was ridiculous.
But speaking of offensive ballparks, thank God we're not in Buffalo or Florida because the school children are safe.
They would have been at risk once school started with where that school is located, especially with the way Vladdy hits baseballs.
They'd have to reschedule the games. Make sure there's no overlap between the school and camp.
Well, we were talking about too. Like he's hit a few dingers that have just been like they've gotten out of the building faster than like they've been lasers. There was the one he hit where the third baseman jumped.
Yeah,
that was ridiculous. He's hitting frozen ropes all over the ballpark. It's great to see that he's so hot too. The Twin Series continues today. The Jays need to win. That we've been talking about this. They have to win these series. They can't drop them. It's great when the Yankees are losing to the soon-to-be Cleveland Guardians by fucking like 7 runs. That's awesome. Need the Baltimore Orioles, though, to put up a little bit more of a fight against the Red Sox. Can't be having Xander Bogaerts hitting fucking monsters. They're fucking dingers over the green monster.
Yeah, it seems like they're starting to get their COVID issues figured out and they're starting to play better. I don't.
Yeah.
My focus is the Yankees because we can control the Yankees.
That's exactly. And there's the direct, like they're playing them, which I'm going to be at that series. Boys are more than welcome to come join. Have to go to that series. It's going to be too big.
I'm looking at that Baltimore series. I think that's the clinching scenario. Saturday that series
we could do that too. That'll be
prediction. Fun. Saturday that series we clinch.
We're gonna be there.
Probably
tear it up in the stands. At the Dome. It might have to be.
It would suck though if everything's clinched and we're just sitting there watching Baltimore with a bunch of backups. Like that would be also not fun.
But we would also just be very drunk in the Dome.
That's a good point. Fair point.
We can make our way. Maybe someone will walk out with a different jersey. Who knows?
We could just sit in right field and heckle the Orioles right fielder.
I think it's Austin Hayes. He's playing a lot of right field. Okay. Or is he in left now?
I don't even know.
Well, where's
Santander? Santander's back, so he's in right. So Hayes is back in left field. Hayes was playing a lot of right field when Santander sucked and was hurt.
Yeah.
Even though he's a natural center fielder, but Cedric Mullins is not giving that position back.
Well, they're stacked, so
tell me about it.
But as far as I don't know, we should really talk about today's game. I kind of want to go deeper into it. But this is kind of going to air when everyone's priority seen the game. So is this an opener for the Twins? Luke Farrell, he's an opener, right?
Take a look at this.
Because I don't.
Luke Farrell?
Farrell. I saw he only pitches like 1-2 innings every start, so I'm assuming.
Dennis got to be an opener.
So.
It's a revenge game
coming off the back. I don't even know who'd be coming off the back of this.
This is a Jose
revenge game.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about that angle.
Jose Berrios playing his former team.
We had the Semien revenge game, and now we got the Berrios one.
Semien revenge game went well.
Yeah.
Semien
Went pretty
just
well.
has owned the fucking A's, which was
Semien
great.
has a serious feud with them.
He's the nicest human ever, so you really have to be a shit organization.
Oh man, watching all the various. I don't know if you guys saw it yesterday, but they keep talking about
Jose just got
professionalism. Yes, true. But they keep talking about
he has too much class.
Sammy and his professionalism and everything else, and the fact that Bo now doesn't take any of those optional days, like he's still working on his defense with Sammy. Because remember at the beginning of the season when everyone was like, "Oh, Bo's on shortstop. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" Have you had any of those feelings recently? Bo's look pretty fucking good at shortstop, hasn't he?
A couple of throws, but nothing crazy. Nothing in big situations, at least.
I mean, at least he's not Fernando Tatis Jr., who plays right field now.
Loser.
Just saying.
Losing ball player.
Remember, like last year, by the way, I have receipts. When people were saying how Vladdy's so much shittier than Tatis and why we wish Tatis at him. Yeah, you can go fuck. These people go fuck themselves. Again, I've read it all. I've seen it all, and I would start tweeting these people things. But
the best actually is I saw it on Twitter. I'm trying to remember who it was, and it was just like it was one of those things where it was just like, could you imagine this happening in the Jays dugout with Vladdy? No, because no one's imagination is that strong. Because no one, if you don't know what we're talking about, Tatis and Manny Machado got into it last night, and we actually talked about this. That it actually seemed like Manny Machado taking a leadership role because Tatis had been thrown out of the game, and he is their best player. And if you hear any of the audio, it's Manny basically yelling at him, saying, "You are the best player in the league on this team. Like you have to play baseball." It actually seemed like Manny Machado doing the right thing, the good teammate. They're also close friends. The veteran taking on the young guy. Anyways. But at the same time, Bo Bichette's still playing shortstop, and he's playing in the outfield.
Yeah.
It's the way she goes.
See, the way, like, some people say Soto's better, and I'm not going to really tell you too
Soto is ridiculous. Me and you have talked about Juan Soto and the things he does and how his numbers are better than Mike Trout's were at the same age, and how Mike Trout is the best player baseball has ever seen, and Juan Soto is better. It's terrifying.
Well, offensively. The other stuff.
He's an average defender in right field at best, but that bat is special. Like you don't at that age to have I think what's his walk rate this year? I want to say it's like fucking 17%. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those. No, that's what I mean. Exactly. It's like he's basically he's an MLB The Show character, and he had COVID to start the year. Actually, I was wrong. His walk rate is 21.1%, and he only Ks at 14.1%.
And he had a strained shoulder early on.
He's hitting 315, 460, 527 exactly with the terrible start to the season with COVID that he had. We don't talk about Juan Soto enough because he's 22 years old. Him and Vlad are the same age. Yeah. He's scary. Juan Soto is good at that's potentially the face of the league. Seriously, people don't talk about it enough. That's actually that might just be the Mike Trout. That might be the guy that no one talks about who just is the best player.
Well, and then the same situation where they've gotten rid of everybody but him, and now it's going to be in a couple of years. Soto's
he's in a whatever market.
Exactly.
Nobody cares about
Trey Turner's gone, so it's literally just him.
Yeah. Well, it's different because Harper was such a big look, flashy and all that, and they were good.
MVP this year. Looks like he's finally back to being Bryce Harper.
I love seeing. Well, I mean, he never stopped. He just this year things just kind of worked out.
Yeah. Was there anything else you boys wanted to get to?
No, I think we were going to talk about the playoff rotation, but we kind of.
That was actually the last thing I have here because we were talking about our rotation is with Ryu. The way he's going, I know he's not going to be the guy that goes to the bullpen. And the funny thing is I saw this on Twitter where it was it's probably going to be Matt's, but the guy who would be a better bullpen piece is probably Manoah because of his stuff, because of the fastball slider combo. But at the same time, you can't take Manoah's, to me, we were talking about this before we started recording. Your playoff rotation is Robbie Ray, Berrios, Manoah. And then probably Matt's as the fourth. Probably Ryu is the fourth, even though you would like Matt's. And Matt's has to go to the bullpen, even though his stuff probably doesn't play the same.
You know what? I want to bring this up now. I think Ben Nicholson Smith tweeted this, And you were talking about like if Manoah should he be in the pen or he probably would be the best fit there. If he didn't get hurt this year and his innings were up, this would have been like a way more serious conversation.
He'd be in the bullpen.
Yeah.
He might be going to the bullpen like now. But that's exactly like the fact that they're kind of Aaron Sanchezing this where they're just like, no, we just got to let this go. We got to let Manoah just keep pitching. And I mean, that's kind of the way to do it. It's not like he's looked bad. It's not like he's had a few starts where you're like, okay, maybe he is getting tired. And then he goes and has that start against the Rays. And you're like, no, he's fine. He's fine. He's going to be good. Then they gave him the extra day of rest too, the way that they rejigged the rotation. They gave Ryu the start, or it did not go well. But they also made sure to give the way that they set Manoah in the rotation, made sure to give him, I think it was 2 days extra of rest because he had gone 8. He had that appearance. But yeah, like I think he's your number 3 just because you can't afford to not have him start. And it also seems like when the lights are brightest, Alek Manoah's at his best. Like that's a guy. It's like Stroman in that 2015 run where you're like, David Price is the best pitcher on this team, but Marcus Stroman's the guy I want in a game that matters.
In game 5, yeah. And right? It's also in the back of your head. I know it's one start. It's hard baseball sample size, but seeing Ryu last year and just,
get hammered against the Rays the way he's getting hammered.
He would be playing him in the first series probably, so it would be tough to have for game 3.
I'm not going to lie, though. I would actually be completely fine if Ryu has to face the Yankees because he owns them. Even when he's bad, he owns them.
Stink. They're not good.
That's true. This is very true.
Is Gallo seriously hurt, or was it just like a minor?
What I was about to say, Gallo has been hitting dingers like
he left
crazy.
The game yesterday.
That's huge. He hit another dinger yesterday too, didn't he?
Yeah, he just got really hot, and now
this is what Joey Gallo does, though. This is why he hits around 200, but has 40 dingers every year. Is because for it's either 2 weeks to a month, and it happens 2 to 3 times a season where Joey Gallo just like he hits 300 for 2 weeks to a month, and all of the home runs come, all of them, and it's happening right now.
He's unstoppable.
What happened right before he got traded too. It happened right before he got traded where he got super hot. I think he hit 10 home runs in like 7 days. And then he got traded to the Yankees. Didn't hit any home runs.
Like his numbers were a disaster until like
with the Yankees, they were bad. I think he was hitting like 168 or something.
Oh yeah, it was terrible. And even with Texas this year started off horrible. And then in like June, July or whatever, he got hot. And then all of a sudden his first half numbers looked pretty good overall because he was that good.
That's Joey Gallo. He's an OPS guy. He's not like you have to look at his OPS. Because like his batting average is going to be about 200 all the time.
The walks will be there. The defense will be there.
And the slugging. Yeah, he's very much an analytical player. He's not like because if he's not a guy that would have survived back in the day. Because you would have looked at that batting average and been like, you can't play this. Yeah,
he would have bounced around so many teams,
right?
Yeah,
he'd probably still be a first baseman too because of how big he is.
Yeah,
they definitely wouldn't put him in the outfield.
He's really good in the outfield. I don't know.
He's elite in the outfield.
Yeah, he's an athlete.
He can play center field well. He's probably the Yankees' best center fielder.
Oh, they got Brett Gardner.
I hate Brett Gardner so much.
Well, they have Aaron Hicks.
Watching Brett Gardner hit dingers against the Yankees.
Watching
Aaron Hicks doesn't count.
Yankee fans hype up guys with like 680 OPS is like it's their job.
That's what Yankees fans do.
They don't give a shit.
The fucking have fun with Gio Urshela. I told you it'd be shit. Yeah, sure. You got a season out of Gio Urshela, 2 half seasons out of Gio Urshela. This is what Gio Urshela is, Yankees fans. Fuck you.
He's not good enough for our team.
Dude, Gibby was right.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. Anyways, anything else you boys want to get to?
Yes, next week, the last road trip of the year. Tampa Bay and Minnesota. This has to be a winning road trip. Obviously, we can't have what happened last time we went out west. We have to have a very good road trip. So
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. This is a hell of a week. Like this again, though, we said they needed to win basically everything down the stretch to even be considered a playoff team. They've been doing it, so it just needs to continue. They have to keep it rolling. Got to win today against the Twins. Got to wrap that up and keep it rolling. Just keep it going. Yeah. That's it for this episode of the Toronto Untilt Blue Jays podcast. I'm Steve Artabello with Anthony Harris and Theo Giordano. You can find our website, torontountilt.com. You can find us on Twitter, Toronto Untilt. You can find the video of this podcast on YouTube, Toronto Untilt. And, of course, you can find us our audio anywhere that you listen to podcasts. That's Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, Bleaker, all of the things. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends. Oh, God, it's September baseball.